So what if an entire economic system wasn't just built on profit, but on, moral duty and a real sense of spiritual purpose? That's what we're diving into today. The unique philosophy behind ancient Indian commerce, where the marketplace itself was seen as part of a sacred cosmic order.
This quote right here really sets the stage perfectly. It tells you right away that we're looking at something totally different from what we're used to. A system where every single transaction, every craft, every job was just infused with this deep ethical and spiritual meaning.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to look at 5 key areas: the idea of a sacred marketplace, the moral compass that guided it all, the actual engines that created prosperity, the incredible highways of exchange they built, and finally, the powerful legacy this all left behind.
Okay, first up, let's get into the core idea that powered this whole worldview, this concept of a sacred marketplace, where every single deal was basically an act of dharma.
The big thing to get here is that trade was never just about moving goods to make money. It was seen as a moral, a social duty. Economic activity was a way you upheld cosmic balance, served your community, and fulfilled your own personal purpose. It wasn't just what you did, it was why your work mattered in the grand scheme of things.
So, building on that foundation, let's now look at the philosophical software. The key ideas that gave the whole economic system its intellectual and moral code. At the heart of everything is this concept of Varta. And this isn't just economics as we think of it. No, it was this holistic science of livelihood. It's farming, raising animals, and trading not as separate jobs, but as these deeply interconnected pillars that were absolutely essential for a healthy and stable society. It's almost like an ancient framework for a truly sustainable economy.
So you have these 3 pillars: agriculture, animal husbandry, and trade. Together, they form the absolute engine of the ancient economy. They weren't just occupations, they were the foundational activities that created food, wealth, and stability for everyone.
And listen, this wasn't some abstract philosophical idea. The legendary statesman Kautilya, in his masterpiece, the Arthashastra, made it crystal clear that Varta was the bedrock of national security. A strong kingdom wasn't just about having a big army, it was about having full granaries, healthy cattle, and booming trade.
Now, this is where the philosophy gets incredibly deep. Take the concept of ayasarira, which translates to the acquired body. The idea is that your very existence, your physical body, your talents, your place in society, is the direct result of your past actions. It's essentially your karmic inheritance.
And the implication of that is just profound. If your body and your skills are karmically earned, then your work becomes a form of svadharma, a sacred personal duty. Your job wasn't just a job, it was a spiritual responsibility. It was a way for your soul to engage with the world and keep moving forward on its journey. It's why labor itself was so deeply respected.
So we've seen the philosophy, the software. Now let's get into the hardware, the real-world institutions and amazing innovations that brought this whole economic vision to life and created just immense prosperity.
The guilds, or shrenis, were just incredible organizations. Think of them as a mix of a chamber of commerce, a trade union, and a social enterprise, all rolled into one. On one hand, they were economic powerhouses. They controlled quality, set prices, and protected trade routes. But on the other hand, they were pillars of the community, acting as early banks, training schools, and even providing a social safety net for all their members.
This timeline is fascinating. It shows this long, continuous focus on precision and fairness. It goes all the way back to the Harappan cities, nearly 5,000 years ago, with their standardized weights. It continues with the insane geometric precision needed for sacred Vedic altars, and then it's all formalized by the Mauryan state to make sure the marketplace was fair for everyone.
Even the way they thought about taxes was guided by this ethical principle. Kautilya's famous analogy of the bee and the flower, it just shows such a sophisticated approach. Taxation should be efficient, sure, but also sustainable. You take what you need without killing the source of the wealth.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But what about the actual results? How skilled were they, really?
This number? This is your answer. It's the age of the Mehrauli Iron Pillar in Delhi. For more than 1,600 years, it has been standing out in the open, and it is virtually rust-free. That is a stunning, almost unbelievable testament to the mastery of ancient Indian metallurgy.
So that incredible level of skill obviously fueled these vast networks of exchange. Now we're going to see how these highways connected not just markets, but entire worlds and different ways of seeing the world.
This is so cool.
You see here the dual meaning of the word marga, which means path. On one hand, it meant the spiritual journey of a pilgrim trying to find liberation, but it also meant the great physical trade routes that were the arteries of commerce. And so often, these two paths were the exact same road.
And Kautilya's Arthashastra lays out this incredibly sophisticated road system. Just look at this breakdown. You've got everything from royal highways for the military and major trade, all the way down to local paths connecting villages. What this shows is just masterful, multi-layered infrastructure planning that was designed to serve every single aspect of society, from business to spirituality.
And these highways, they didn't just stop at the subcontinent's edge. They stretched right across the seas to places like Suvarnabhumi, what we'd call Southeast Asia today. India exported so much more than just spices and textiles. It exported entire systems of thought, language, philosophy, models for kingship, and these stunning artistic traditions.
And here's the kicker. This vast influence wasn't achieved through military force. It was done through what we today would call soft power. It was an exchange based on cultural appeal, on shared values, and on mutual respect. A truly unique model for how nations could interact in the ancient world.
Which brings us to our final section, the civilizational legacy. What can all of this ancient economic wisdom possibly offer our modern and, let's be honest, often troubled world?
When you really boil it all down, what we're left with is this powerful, holistic model. It starts by completely reframing commerce as a moral duty. Then it integrates that philosophy with robust institutions, like the guilds and smart infrastructure. And finally, its goal is to exchange not just stuff, but values and ideas, all built on a foundation of respect.
And that leaves us with a final, really provocative thought. As we face these immense global challenges, climate change, social inequality, what can we possibly learn from a civilizational approach that put moral duty and cosmic harmony at the absolute heart of its economy? Something to think about.